Okay. Hiya! And welcome back to Sileo Tales of a New Dawn. Hopefully this time it goes better. Let me keep the performance window open, because otherwise it'll probably shit itself again. I don't know, it just does that all the time. Ugh. Well, let's just hop right in. After 20 or so minutes of tormenting poor Lucas, I took my place at the door where a long line had formed while Ty and Lucas were in their positions on stage. Turnout was far greater than expected, and it was just as well I'd been here to help control the crowds. So far, auditions had been running for about 2 hours. I would take the person's name and direct them to the stage where they'd perform a single song. Any performer who played more than one song with would require a stamp next to their name on my list, becoming part of the shortlist. Many aspiring players had come and gone, playing a single song before being sent on their merry way. I'd grown somewhat weary as the line of performers seemed somewhat front-loaded in terms of quality. The recent performers have been a little disappointing. Not to mention that after our significant amount of exercise, I was more than ready to collapse into a soft bed and fall into a total coma. Thankfully, however, my weariness would soon be shaken free, something that began as Ty dismissed yet another lackluster player and motioned to me for me to come forward. Motioned to me for another. I addressed the musician immediately in front of them, taking their name and number before directing them towards the stage. I jotted down the details as the band began to play before being caught unawares by a strangely familiar voice emanating from immediately in front of me. No way. There is no fucking way. Most enthusiastic hello to you, Aiden. Eh? Oh, come now. Surely you have not forgotten my distinctive and handsome face. Jay? Wow! Long time no see. Only a few precious days, my good fellow, but an eternity it may well seem. How do you fare? Me? Well, I'm fantastic if I'm honest. Now that makes quite the change from our last encounter, a rare yet highly sought-after response indeed. Last time I enjoyed your company, you and the delightful tiger over yonder were in something of a rough patch. Is your cheerful and upbeat status due to some fantastic news, perhaps? Heh, you could say that. As I'm sure you guessed, Ty and I patched things up. Not only that, but... I hesitated before taking a glance towards the stage. With flawless timing, the band began an audition, ensuring that my words would not be overheard. I turned back to Jay, completing my sentence. I think I've completely fallen for him. I'm head over heels. Ah, lovely. I just knew in my heart of hearts that the two of you would work things out. I am positively elated for you. Thanks, Jay. Sorry if I ruined the mood the other night at the strip club. I know I wasn't good company. Come now, love. Our mutual friend in all his wisdom dragged you along to a strip club when all you wanted was to reconcile with a certain hunky tiger. Of course you weren't good company. Nobody could expect that of you. I'm glad you can see that. I don't think Eric could. Worry not. Words were had, I can assure you. But you must forgive Eric. His heart is in the right place, but his head is all wrong in the very best of times. You can say that again. I'm glad you think so, actually. I found it kind of weird the two of you are friends. Seems like a strange fit is all. Yeah, as it would happen, he and I share some rather specific interests and hobbies. Our involvement is symbiotic, as it were, but we are hardly best friend material. That being said, I do very much enjoy his company regardless, warts and all as it may be sometimes. I hate to think what the two of you get up to. I'll think so. Worry not, I shall spare you the grisly details. Heh, thanks. So, what brings you here? Yeah? Come now, my good fellow. Does the bass guitar on my back truly not give it away? Oh, you mean you play bass? Indeed I do. Surprised? I mean, a little, I guess. I just thought Lucas has been asking around. Surely Eric should have said something to him, right? Eric? That rat could not tell a bass guitar from a ukulele. Alas, he and I do not overlap in the realms of song, owing primarily to his complete lack of musicality. Huh, that explains it then. Ty had asked me to keep an eye out for a bassist, but I had no idea you played. I guess it's a happy accident you came anyway, right? On the contrary, nothing could have prevented my presence this evening. Merely the opportunity alone is a dream come true. For you see, it was Glenn's bass performances that inspired me to learn the instrument in the first place. If you told my younger self that I'd one day audition as his replacement, well, I know not what I'd have thought. Though the word liar certainly comes to mind. Yeesh. I suppose you'd have to have some mixed feelings about all of this, huh? No, not so much, I suppose. I've heard the stories and know all about Glenn's reputation. I respect his music, his songwriting, and his overall talent. But I fear that I simply do not respect him as a person. The man is quite clearly like an egotistical control freak lacking in any self-awareness. That sounds about right, actually. I had the distinct honor of finally meeting the guy a couple of hours back before the auditions began. Let's just say he's not welcome back in the band, and came very close to a clobbering from Lucas. Close, you say? What a shame. He could do with being taken down a few notches. Oh well, this evening his losses will hopefully become my gain. I'm so very thrilled to have this opportunity. I do hope that I can impress Ty and Lucas. Being here truly is a dream come true. Auditioning to replace the very source of my inspiration. The way I see things, every note I have played, every hour I have practiced, it was all in anticipation of this moment. I cannot afford to let it go to waste. Aiden, I've been signaling for the next audition. Is there... Oh. Jay, was it not? You were a waiter not so long ago at the new cafe in town. It is wonderful to see you in front of a microphone again, Ty. How my ears have longed for your serenade. I'm truly honored to have this opportunity to join you on stage, even if only for a single song. Jay's overwhelming charm and charisma helped conceal his nervousness, something that his body language betrayed. Watching Ty's response, he had noticed this as well, adapting his approach to help Jay grow comfortable. The honor is all mine, my dear. Do try to relax and take a few deep breaths. That obvious, huh? But see, my acting skills leave something to be desired. I should be thankful they are not on display instead. Exactly right. A terrific consideration. If it helps you focus, think of me as nothing more than a local barman. After all, that is all I have been for a number of years now. It's okay. Actually, I tend to perform quite well under pressure. Truly a desirable trait to have as a musician. You face a great deal of pressure in this line of work. Whenever you are ready, we will rejoin Lucas atop the stage. Thanks to a certain wolf leaving them at the venue a number of years back, there is a bass stack all set up and ready to go. You only need to plug in. Whew, I've been ready my whole life. That is the spirit. Head on up and get yourself ready. I'll join you shortly. Forcing a confident yet clearly feigned smile, Jay skipped towards the stage with his guitar and began connecting it up to the stack next to Lucas, who was eyeing him up with curiosity, no doubt wondering what the holdup had been. I do so love his confidence and enthusiasm. I am looking forward to seeing how this pans out. I don't know him that well, but he seems like a great guy. I hope he can pull this off. I hope so too. With such an infectious and upbeat personality, performing alongside him will be fun. And after all, is fun not precisely what we seek? It'll only be fun if he can actually play the instrument. Well, yes, that'll be something of a desirable bonus, would it not? Ty chuckled, flashing me an anticipatory grin as he turned tail and returned to his position on the stage. Jay's smile projected confidence, but his submissive body language and scared look in his eyes suggested otherwise. As Jay warmed up his fingers, the three briefly discussed their song choice. I could only hear bits and pieces over the bustle of the crowd, but it seemed as though Jay had chosen a deep cut from the band's back catalog, something that seemed a pleasant surprise to both Ty and Lucas alike. And at long last, Lucas opened up with a drum intro before Ty and Jay launched into action, their instruments in perfect tune with one another and completely synchronized. The majority of the auditioning bass players performed with a pick, and yet here Jay was plucking the thick strings with the fingers on his right hand. It was immediately obvious that we were listening to a 5-star performance. Something the noisy room full of musicians instantly recognized as a chatter rapidly ceased, and everybody turned toward the stage to bear witness to the current audition. Despite Jay's nervousness, every note he played was flawless, his own tight playing prompting both Lucas and Ty alike to hone in their timing with a greater precision than ever before. I didn't have to wait long before a surprised and excited smile spread across Ty's face, while Lucas's expression was more one of total disbelief. I watched as many faces down the line of would-be auditionees fell, knowing full well that they couldn't keep up with the magnificent performance they were witnessing. All told, about a quarter of the line vanished in the first minute of the song alone, with many more departing as it drew to its eventual close. I was no musician myself, but I knew one thing for certain. This was the finest performance we'd seen all night. Following their first song, Ty had Jay play another, which was performed with a similar degree of perfection. Having finished the track, Jay went to pack his guitar away before Ty stopped him in his tracks. Jay was confused in the beginning, but everything made perfect sense when Ty returned to his microphone and cleared his throat. Everybody, your attention please. The room, which following the second performance had become a sea of surprised whispers and nervous mutters, once again fell silent as they watched Ty intensely, waiting for his announcement. I'm thrilled to announce that we have chosen our new bass player for the Black Claws. Everybody, please give Jay here a round of applause. The chatter recommenced once again. A number of people cheered and clapped to congratulate Jay. Positive sounds that were regrettably drowned out somewhat by disappointed sighs from the line of bassists who had missed out on their chance to audition. I apologize to those who did not have an opportunity to play tonight. We have enjoyed. Ty turned towards me, reaching for my list of bassists. I handed this to him, which he quickly surveyed before returning to the microphone. 42 separate auditions tonight, and while there were some serious performers in the running, sometimes you just know when somebody is a fit. Both Lucas and I knew this from the very first note Jay played. He is an outstanding bassist with an infectious attitude, and we are very excited to have him on board with us. Now, the three of us would like to ask you all a big favor. 1 week from today, next Thursday night, there will be 2 shows playing in town, both under the name of the Black Claws. The chatter begun once again, this time a collection of confusion as they pondered why there would be 2 versions of the same band playing simultaneously. Ty continued his speech, putting that question to rest with little delay. One of these shows will be fronted by our former bassist and frontman, Glenn, and the other will be right here in this very venue, with this very band. And whichever band sells more tickets and gets better reviews will get to continue on with the Black Claws name. As such, we humbly request that you spread the word and support us. Tickets will be on sale at my bar on the High Street starting first thing tomorrow morning. For our performance, we will be playing our 3rd album in its entirety, as well as several other songs, including one brand new song. The mention of a new song raised some ears among the crowd, signaling the chatter to begin once again, sounding notably more excited than before. Even though they were passed over for the band, the room was nonetheless full of Black Claws fans, largely undeterred by their rejection and excited for the band's upcoming show. So thank you all so much for coming, and we hope to see you all next Thursday. Remember, Ty's Bar on High Street for tickets. First come, first served. Good night, everyone, and please take care that you all make it home safely. Once again, the crowd erupted into cheers and excited chatter before they began moving towards the door, slowly squeezing out the one solitary entrance the venue had and flooding into the dark streets outside. Eventually, I had ushered the last of the stragglers from the venue and sealed the doors behind them before reconvening with the others who were cheerfully and excitedly conversing amongst themselves. Fuck we keep saying, Lucas. The fuck we keep saying, Lucas? What do we keep saying, Lucas? What do we keep saying? Gonna have a dead body to poke a stick? We're gonna have its dead body to poke with. Poke your dead body with a stick, Lucas, if you don't wipe that goddamn smile off your face. Can't be serious, right? On the contrary, my dear, I would not lie to you about such a thing. Jay failed to restrain a childlike grin accompanied by a small screech of excitement as he bounced up and down in place, finally turning toward me with a beaming grin. Did you hear that, Aiden? He said I'm a better player than Glenn by far! I can't believe it! I smiled at Jay, unable to resist his infectious cheer. Lucas did the very same before addressing Jay himself. I agree, your timing is impeccable, and what the hell was that bass solo? Overdrive pedal, intended for a normal guitar no less. Of course, I don't let that stop me. Creative. Very impressively played too. Glenn has more than met his match. Shucks, guys. Such sweet words are liable to cause cavities. Hey Jay, did you notice what happened to the cue when you played? The cue? I'm afraid not. I had a bad case of tunnel vision for a while there. All I could focus on was not screwing up. Heh, that's understandable. Most of the line walked, dude. When you started, the line went all the way out to that lamppost outside. When you finished, it was all... It was inside the hall. You were so good, maybe 2/3 of the people in line just gave up. Really? I almost feel bad for them, but only almost. I can't believe that I'm a member of the Black Claws. A big thank you to all of you fine gentlemen for this opportunity, for having chosen me, and for all of your compliments. It's a dream come true for me. Truly, a dream made reality. No thanks necessary, my dear. Although if you wanted to repay us, you could kindly retrieve our socks from the ceiling. After all, you blew them clean off. I deliberately slipped up during the second song and rushed the tempo during the second chorus. You adjusted in a split second, even quicker than Ty did. And Ty was expecting it. I don't say this lightly, but I'm very impressed. Damn. If this is a dream, do me a favor. Don't wake me up. Well then, gentlemen, we have 7 days to prepare. With such a powerful bassist on our side, Glenn barely stands a chance. But that is no excuse not to practice, practice, practice. Tomorrow's unfortunately no good for me. It has been a few days since I have worked at the bar, and of course I need to get the tickets organized and everything as well. But come Saturday, let us all meet here, plan out the set list, and play some more music. I think I can keep dreaming for that long. I'll be there. It reminds me, actually. You said there's a new song we're going to be playing? Indeed. What is it exactly? Well, I will let you know when I have written it. You didn't. I did. I can't wait to hear it. First new Black Claws track in years. I bet it's going to be killer. That certainly is the hope. Hey Ty, what about that song you played when we were out camping? Oh, that? Well, I think I would rather write a new one. It was a little older, you see, and well, it is, Never mind me, just leave this to me. I have all of the inspiration that I need to write a brand new one. Alright, what are you going to write about? Maybe a love song all about yours truly? It seems rather corny and would no doubt be an incredibly embarrassing moment, but at the same time, the sentiment alone unleashed butterflies in my stomach. I may well cringe the entire way through, but I could not wait to hear it. It also seemed as though my expression communicated those feelings loud and clear as Ty responded with a warm and gentle chuckle, accompanied by a knowing wink and an understanding nod. Finally, Ty slung his guitar bag over his shoulder. I suppose it is past time we all get a move on. I must concede, it has been a long and very active day. You're telling me. I'm not used to this much exercise. Stick with me, my dear. You will grow accustomed to it. Jay, Lucas, do either of you need a ride home? No thank you, Ty. My car is just down the street, as much as I'd love the honor of riding in yours. Very well, gentlemen. Thank you all for tonight, and congratulations again, Jay. We are very lucky to have you. Yeah, thank you, Jay. I think keeping up with you is going to make me a better drummer. Thanks, guys. I can't wait to play with you guys again. I know I keep saying so, but it is such an honor. An honor, perhaps, but it is our pleasure. Ty delivered a cordial bow before turning tail, beckoning me to follow him. I smiled at Jay and Lucas, giving Jay a thumbs up, which he excitedly returned before Ty and I headed towards the street, towards the side of a venue, creating just enough distance for us to talk in private. I'm very thankful that you came here today, my dear. I had not expected such volumes. You are a fantastic help. Thank you. Come on, of course I came. I'll come to every single practice that I can because it means I get to see your handsome face and hear your beautiful voice. I'm glad you enjoy our practices, and thank you for encouraging me to do this. Playing with Jay tonight, it truly reminded me of how much I love doing this when all of the pieces fit. If it were not for you, I do not think I would have ever pursued the Black Claws again. You're welcome, Ty, and you're such an amazingly talented dude. I want to encourage you to pursue your dreams and use your talents to the fullest. And you, my dear, now it is late and I am certain you are tired. Do not try convincing me otherwise either. I know better. Come with me, I will drop you off at Diego's. I smiled at Ty before nodding in confirmation of his order. I was not going to decline such a forceful offer, and he was not wrong either. I was exhausted. For the second time today, I arrived at Diego's home. This time, however, the sounds of activity from the living room gave away Diego's presence. Slowly stumbling in as I yawned and wiped the sleep from my eyes, Diego looked towards me with an expectant smile. I watched as his male character flirted with another male character. Ha! What a homo. Diego finally paused the game and addressed my rival. Well, if it ain't Mr. Camp. I don't mean, like, Mr. Camping. Guy who likes to camp. I didn't mean... Look who's talking. Bet you're not playing that game for the story, eh? Yo, is he playing Cyberpunk? Is this motherfucker playing Cyberpunk? Hold up. Okay. Cyberpunk 2077 release date. December 10th, 2020. When was this update done? Sileo, Tales of a New Dawn, devlog. Okay, I'm just like reading through this. Okay, I actually did play Cyberpunk, and I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy playing Cyberpunk. It was a while ago, like last year. But no, I like... He's either playing Cyberpunk or extracurricular activities, I swear to God. Okay, I can't find it, but it's somewhere in 2022. Yeah, it was somewhere in 2021 or 2022. Either way, he's probably playing Cyberpunk. I don't know, or extracurricular activities. Actually, is he on console? Look who's talking. Bet you're not playing that game for the story, eh? He's definitely playing extracurricular activities. He definitely is. That's exactly what I'm playing it. But if the dicks flop out, you won't see me complaining. Anyway, sit. Tell me everything. Diego excitedly pet the spot to his right on the sofa, inviting me to sit down beside him. I stumbled around the narrow gap between his feet and the coffee table before my exhausted legs buckled beneath me, setting me falling into that exact spot. You look tired, can't blame it. I've probably died on one of Ty's expeditions. So much damn walking. Who even likes walking anyway? Well, I think the trick is to have good company, and I certainly had that. We talked a lot, all four of us in fact. I learned a lot about everyone, a lot about Lucas too. That's cool, man. Next time you'll have to go as a duo so you two can get up to some mischief, eh? Like Axel and Russell being around stopped us. Eh? Really? Keep this a secret, but Ty and I zipped off to the woods with the excuse that we were getting firewood and, well, we had plenty already, something I only learned after the fact. Ha! Classic Ty. It's not what he says, but the things he doesn't. Those are the things you should be worried about. Never knew he was such a hornball, though. Can't help but respect him for it. Oh man, you don't know the half of it. Eric may be forthcoming about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ty was much, much worse. What? No way. Prove it. What sort of shit did you two get up to? Really, Diego? That sort of thing is a touch personal, you know. So, come on. We're both about as straight as a pair of curly straws, right? And best friends for that matter. You know, I bet Ty tells Lucas all the hairy details. Yeesh. Oh god. It fucking died. Yeesh, I hope not. That'll make for some really awkward days at work. Come on, dude, you gotta throw me a bone. I sighed, in part due to Diego's horrific pun. I was just too tired for his shit. Subsequently, I decided to give Diego an incredibly vague version of events, if only to get him off of my back. Look, I'm not going into detail, but let's just say there was a safe word involved. Whoa, was he rough? Did it hurt? You're assuming he was the top. Seriously? No shit? Damn. And that's all you're getting for now. Maybe I'll tell you more another time. Hey, no fair! You can't drop a saucy morsel like that only to cut me off. I can, and I will. You know what the worst bit in all of it was? We think Russell might have figured out what we were up to. Oh shit. But yeah, I had a great time. I'm really glad Ty suggested you could see Cydonia from our campsite. It was nice to look back at my old life, see how far I've come, and how much happier I am now. That's great, dude. So, how do you feel about him now? About his secrets? Do you see yourself spending your life with him? Honestly, I'll always be curious about their secrets, but he told me he's 100% committed and on board, and I can feel his love for me. I believe him, and I love him just as much. Neither of us have said anything, but I don't think it'd be an understatement to say we love one another. I trust his love, I have faith in his dedication. As long as his secrets don't come between us, I'm happy. As for Diego's final question, I had no qualms about it. I already knew my answer. Yes, I can see myself spending my life with him. He's perfect. Aw, that's sweet, dude. And
self-voicing enabled. Aiden, and he's the best damn sex I've ever had. Self-voicing disabled.
Aw, come on, you know I want the details. You're just as bad when I ask Ty about oh shit, that's right! What's right? Dude, he came in this morning. Who did? Spencer. Oh. I pondered to myself, trying to determine whether or not Spencer was something I still wanted to pursue. It had all started when things between Ty and I weren't so good, and his suspicious and secretive nature raised some difficult questions with no real answers. Let me see something, because I did go through the files a while ago. So I'm curious about something. I'm going to check it out. Hold up. Okay, let's look at this. Okay. Yeah, I keep seeing these files, and I feel like they mean something. Like these files, but like I do not see if they mean anything, like, at all. I genuinely don't know if they mean anything. Oh god, I need to stop going through the files. I'd been wondering if Spencer had anything to do with what was going on between Ty and me, but perhaps I'd been jumping to conclusions. A perfectly normal response to being upset and heartbroken. Thinking about it now, I almost felt foolish. After all, I was committed to Ty through thick and thin, just as he was to me. But despite that, I decided I would continue, but for reasons unrelated to my relationship with Ty. I suppose at this point I was curious, and I did not want Dom and Diego's hard work to have been for nothing. So, he came in and asked for Ty, wanted to speak to him. Of course, you two were off banging in the woods like filthy animals, so I let him know that Ty wasn't around. I mean, we're banging in the woods this morning, although I did get a blowjob wake-up call. You fucking tease. Sorry. Anyway, I didn't learn much. He knows you and Ty are dating, though, and he remembered my name, apparently from previous visits. Didn't even buy nothing, cheapskate. Tried to convince him to have a drink, one of them expensive import bottles. Not a chance, but he's coming back tomorrow, and we're both working tomorrow. Tomorrow? Shit, I wonder what he's after. Maybe tomorrow we'll finally figure it out? I guess it's all we should go on right now. We ought to think about the kinds of questions we should ask him. True, but I'd like to ask a favor. Let's keep Ty out of this. I'd like to know more, but things are good right now, and my relationship is my priority. I don't want to take any risks. He's one of the few people who knows Duke. We can't just discount him from the search. I know, but I'd prefer not to know than risk screwing things up. He's just so much more important to me than some shady bird. Alright, dude, I understand. I won't say a thing to or around Ty. Thanks, Diego. On one condition. I sighed, concerned about just what he would ask of me this time. You and your damn conditions, Diego. Fine, what do you want? Give me the deeds. Really? Really? I sighed. I guess Diego did have a point before. We were best friends and gay. What was the point in hiding anything? He'd been there, done that. Maybe being able to talk about this sort of stuff with someone I trust would be kind of nice. I just had to hope that Diego would keep it a secret between us. Actually, this was Diego we were talking about. I'd better make it a condition of the agreement beforehand. Fine, so long as you promise not to tell anyone. This is a secret between you and me only. Got it? Gotcha, bud. Tell me that you promise me. Yeah, I promise. Not a soul. Okay, so when we were walking to the campsite, there was a section of a path by a river which had crumbled away. 3 of us got across safely, but Axel wasn't so lucky. Axel can be such a klutz. I knew as soon as you said 3 of us that he would be the exception. Yeah, poor guy. Anyway, there was a set of fire-making materials in Axel's pack that got drenched, and that gave Ty something of an idea. Having successfully scarred poor Diego for life with the extravagant tales of my sexual conquest, the 2 of us at long last retired to our respective rooms to catch some much-needed shut-eye before returning to work on the following day. Out slipped a melancholy sigh, mourning my short vacation which had come and gone in a flash. Ah, well, I suppose those student loans weren't going to pay them, right? Yeah, they were, actually, all thanks to Ty's insistence. I shrugged to myself. There was always rent, at least if Diego had finally conceded in a petty squabble and accepted payment. I hoped with crossed fingers. No sign of any banknotes yet. So far, so good. Beyond that, I didn't have a car, nor any other real expenses. A joint shift from only 2 weeks prior. These days, I had all the money I could ever want for buying nice things, ordering delicious meals, taking Ty on extravagant dates. Oh, right, Ty's birthday! The perfect excuse to burn excess cash. I gleefully rubbed my hands together as I pondered the sort of things I might buy him. Something thoughtful, perhaps, a watch as classy as he was, an amethyst earring to accentuate his violet eyes. My grin grew ever wider as my mind drifted to more unsavory topics, specifically the sort of gifts I could give him that could see some use in the bedroom. A vibrating butt plug, perhaps a gag and some cuffs. Damn, tying a ball gag. That would be a sight to behold. With a playful yet malicious chuckle, I undressed myself in order to swap into the pile of clothes situated at the foot of the bed. A rough set of poorly fitting and mismatched gear which I wore to bed in lieu of pajamas. On any normal night, I'd have simply retained the same pair of underwear. Alas, thoughts of a cuffed and gagged tie had rendered them slimy and inhospitable to wear. I didn't mind too much, as free balling was fine too. Accordingly, I wiped myself clean with the few dry spots I could locate and tossed the underwear into a washing basket. I knew full well that a shower would have been the proper solution, but after the day I'd had, a shower sounded like a lot of effort. I pulled my arms through the sleeves of my t-shirt with little delay, eager to slip into the covers and off into a blissful and well-deserved rest. Then finally completing the ensemble as I held the waistband of my pants agape and slid my legs inside, one by one. Ah, what the fuck? With loud and high-pitched shriek, I tore the pants right back off again, banishing them to the floor with considerable velocity. I had felt something that didn't belong, something that scraped against my skin as I was pulling them up my legs. I backed away slowly, my eyes darting to and fro, desperately searching for some kind of weapon to protect myself. Through the wardrobe, which sat only slightly ajar, I spotted a broom, or at least what remained of one. All that remained was the pole and a small loop on one end, which allowed the broom to be hung up on a hook. The entire part of the broom that would act as the brush was conspicuously absent. In differing circumstances, I'd have questioned why Diego was holding on to such an item. Instead, I was thanking my lucky stars. For once, his inability to dispose of old and broken stuff had worked in my favor. Whatever manner of beast the culprit may have been, it would have nonetheless regret picking a fight with me, for in my possession was a broken broom, and you bet your ass I knew how to use it. I started out poking and prodding at the trousers from the maximum possible distance, my frayed nerves dreading what manner of critter may come scuttling out. When nothing did, I didn't rightly know if I should have felt relieved or more terrified still. There was little else I could muster the courage to do, so I upped the ante. My prodding progressed into aggressive, repeated thwacks in a desperate attempt to beat the one man left standing. I wasn't going to lose to some stupid bug. What the shit was that? After much persistence, my onslaught would finally elicit some sort of response. I knew not what kind of fucked up two-many-legged hell spawn could have made such a noise, but there's one thing I did know. I needed backup. I edged around the room, maintaining my distance from whatever undignified death awaited me in those trousers as I attempted to reach my suitcase, a pair of pants sticking out of an unzipped gap. I grew closer, as yet unarmed but no less terrified than before. I hated bugs. Ever since I was a kid, and that girl in class stuck a centipede down my shirt. Ugh. I don't know. I was close. If I leaned and stretched my body out, I might have just been able to. Oh, you're fucking kidding me. Oh god, we just figured out what it was. Wait. I dramatically dropped the former broom, causing it to clatter to the ground before approaching the trousers. My fear dispelled, having laid eyes on the source of the strange sound. I bent down, picking it up and holding it in front of my face with an irritated frown. It was $200 in cash, stuffed in my trousers where I couldn't possibly have missed them. I couldn't believe it. I thought for sure there was some kind of bug in there. It even sounded like one. I sighed, giving the money a solemn and matter-of-factly glare. I was embarrassed, but nonetheless thankful that nobody had been around to witness such rampant stupidity. Oh yeah, I think I know what's happening. Things were about to get so much worse. Good thing I hid the screen. Yo, you okay in there? Keep hearing loud Huh. I stood there, mouth agape with hanging freely in full view of Diego. At my feet sat a pair of trousers. To my left, a broken broom. Clasped tightly in my hand were two $100 notes. Hey, Diego! Hey, what you doing? Well, it isn't what it looks like. Dude, what the hell even does it look like? Yeah, good point, I guess. I bent down, grabbing the pair of trousers I now knew were safe, and quickly climbed into them, hoping to conceal my furry jewels from view as quickly as possible. Well, think about it this way. We're even now. I groaned in abject discomfort. As much as I hated everything about this mortifying situation, perhaps Diego had some small point. After all, I got a comparable view of him not all that long ago. Perhaps in some strange way this was for the best? You're not mad, are you? I sighed before my eventual retort. Wish you'd knocked. Speak for yourself. Now you know how it feels. I know how you're feeling right now, but honestly, it ain't no big deal. I mean, we're best mates. It's bound to happen eventually. Now, what was it you said last time? Hope the view is worth it? Hey, that's not fair. Using my own words in a near-identical but reverse situation against me. Diego failed to conceal his sarcasm as he burst into laughter. Eventually regaining his composure, his following words were accompanied by a cheeky grin. But you know, we're both massive fags. Seen my fair share, that's for sure. Bet you have too. So, I just wanted to say, nice cock, bro. It ain't weird. The sheer absurdity of the entire situation was too much for me to handle as my discomfort finally fled, having the last shreds of my composure in catastrophic ruin. Unable to resist, Diego succumbed, joining in my unrestrained laughter, both of us cackling madly like a pair of scheming witches with only a single broken broom between us. We laughed and laughed until we both collapsed to the floor, gasping for breath as our cheeks throbbed from the pain of our outrageous expressions. As soon as I was able to speak once again, I decided it was only fair to return Diego's compliment. Thanks, bro. Yours is pretty nice too, bro. Thanks, bro. Gay. Nothing gay about two bros complimenting each other's cocks, bro. My bad. We're straight as an arrow, right, bro? I don't know. Still don't rightly know what you plan on doing with that broomstick. Do I even want to know? I thought there was a bug in my trousers. The broom was my weapon for self-defense. Oh yeah! That's right, you have that whole phobia thing, huh? Don't tell anybody. Remember that time at uni where we got drunk and left the window open? Your screaming at 7 in the morning woke me up. Fucking thing was the size of a space station. Good memories. At long last, Diego climbed to his feet. I followed suit shortly after, stumbling slightly as I did. If I wasn't exhausted before, the adrenaline crash took every last drop of energy I had to spare. Jokes aside, dude, I'm sorry. Thanks for not being mad. Pa, it's like you said before, we're even, I guess. And you're right, who cares? Whew. I'm glad things aren't super awkward or anything. So, did you need my help with that bug, or... All of a sudden, I remembered that Diego's attempt to return the money was the entire reason this whole situation had happened in the first place. I fumed slightly as I raised my hand, waving the 2 notes I still so firmly held between my fingers so that Diego would see them. Oh, whoops. My bad. Come to think of it, maybe we aren't so even after all. Better be getting to sleep. Got work tomorrow. Well, good night. That absolute coward walks in on me naked without knocking and hightails it out as soon as I confront him about the cash. I was done with the fun and games. I'd stop at nothing until he took my damn money. No more Mr. Nice Guy. As I prepared myself for bed, I schemed up a variety of diabolical schemes that would fatten Diego's stubborn pockets. But as I plotted and conspired, I couldn't help but recall Diego's compliment. Was it a joke, to break the ice, or maybe he really meant it? With an amused and undignified snort, I switched out the lights and slipped beneath the covers of Diego's spare bed, depositing the money atop the bedside table ready for an imminent return to the possession of its rightful owner. It had been an incredible couple of days, from meeting Russell to the incredible camping trip, having the chance to learn more about Ty and the fascinating life he had led. Yesterday alone was full of so many amazing moments. Oh, and the sex was cool too, I guess. Abandoning that bold-faced lie, I remembered the auditions for the Black Claws, an audition where a friendly acquaintance stole the show. I didn't know Jay all that well, but his infectiously cheerful nature, coupled with his elegant charm, was enough to enthrall most anybody in his presence. His technical excellence and his obviously intimate knowledge of the band's catalog was such an incredible and hard-earned blend of talents, skills, and comprehensive knowledge that his audition, originally just another in a long line, would instead become the epic and unforgettable finale. If either Ty or Lucas still harbored any doubts beforehand, I felt certain that they had been addressed in full by the thundering notes of Jay's peerless performance. And the 3 of them, the brand new incarnation of the Black Claws, they had a bright future ahead. Of that I was certain. And Ty, my feelings only grew with each passing second. I was excited for work the next day, not because it was work, but because he would be there. Between everything that had transpired, I could barely contain my excitement as my mind ventured off on tangents, imagining various different possible futures and the happiness to be found within. I drifted off to sleep to the sound of my tail steadily beating back and forth between the covers, grinning with happiness and anticipation. I couldn't wait to see what would happen next. Day 13. Number 15. Yo, Aiden, can you pass me a soda? Doing as Diego had requested, I reached down into the brown paper bag resting to the side of the chair and retrieved a can of carbonated soda from the 6-pack we'd only bought 10 minutes prior. In a refreshing change of pace compared to the typical morning meal with Diego, our breakfast that day, if you would consider such a late meal to be breakfast, took place in the local mall. And Diego, who despite his drastically improved financial situation, still seemed to struggle when it came to shedding the old frugal habits that served us so well in our university days. As such, rather than pay premium for our beverages from the food court, Diego had insisted on buying a multi-pack from the grocery store instead. It was more economical, by his reckoning. As I handed the drink to him, Diego wasted no time in cracking it open and taking several sizable and desperate gulps before even having fully swallowed his mouthful of donut. Finally, he swallowed the sugary combo, returning with a dramatic and exasperated groan of relief. That hits the spot. Oh! Heads up, we've got company. I swiveled in my chair, following Diego's gaze that was directed over my shoulder, and immediately to my rear, as I spun in place, I recognized a familiar face approaching our table, a tray containing a kebab and fries, clutched firmly in hand. Hey guys, sorry I'm a bit behind schedule. Hope I haven't kept you waiting long. Not at all, we've only just sat down ourselves. Before Dom had even seated himself, his attention had been drawn to the unusual and unexpected sight that was Diego's tray. Donuts? I can't remember the last time you ordered anything that wasn't buffet, Diego. Yeah, well, You know what Diego's like, and the lady behind the counter was looking extra scary today. He decided he wasn't going to risk it. You know, Diego, you wouldn't have this problem if you didn't always overfill your plate. Hey, if she wants people to take less food, she should start using smaller plates. It ain't my fault I like to get my money's worth. Diego scowled. In all fairness to him, I didn't exactly disagree with his logic. But he knew exactly the kind of response he would get if he overfilled his plate and still went and did it anyway. He certainly was stubborn, to say the least, if not something of a sucker for punishment. With an amused grin, Dom placed his tray in the open space to my right before fetching an unused chair from a nearby table. He sat himself down and grabbed several of his fries, eagerly tossing them into his mouth with anticipation. So, Dom, I take it you must have something pretty big if you're calling us out in person like this, huh? Earlier that morning, I'd barely woken up when I received a call from Dom. He informed me that he had found out something more about Spencer, and, in an unusual subversion of my expectations, asked us to meet with him at lunchtime in the food court. Both Diego and I were not due to start work until 2 p.m. and consequently had enjoyed something of a sleep-in. Not that waking up so late had done Diego any favors, as evidenced by his voracious appetite for caffeinated beverages and refined sugar. For whatever reason, despite having woken up later than I did, Diego seemed to be completely exhausted. Well, kind of. It's nothing that couldn't have been said over the phone, but I guess I thought it'd be nice, to meet up during my lunch break and tell you both in person. You really dragged me out of bed at this crazy hour because you wanted to hang out? Diego, I think you'll find it's after midday. Your point? Ugh. Sorry, I don't want to seem ungrateful or anything, just I've been working some crazy hours these last few days, and well, I didn't sleep well last night. I understand, Diego. I'll be sure to communicate my intentions better next time. That's on me. Don't mind him, Dom. We have work at 2 p.m. anyway. He'd just be as awake and just as grumpy regardless of our plans. I could have squeezed in another half hour. Would have made all the difference. That thing. That one edit that you did, that eyebrow meme. Come on, Diego, cheer up. Maybe you'll be a little less grumpy when you hear what it is that I've found. Diego sighed, his own stubborn crankiness promptly dispatched by his insatiable curiosity as he stuffed another donut into his gaping maw before once again washing it down with a gluttonous swig of precious caffeine. Fine. You win. I'll bite. Let's hear it. That's a spirit. So I told you both yesterday about the Solomon guy. Well, I couldn't find anything more in the archives about him. It's like I said, just like Spencer, he's a total ghost. I scoured the archives for hours and in my desperation even tried the regular old internet, just in case. Just when I thought it was a lost cause, I found this topic on a local message board from a few years back. It spoke of a hot spring to the north of town, tucked away inside the thicket near that nice overlook. Apparently the springs are private property, but the owner seems to let people come and go as they please. Hot springs? I had no idea there were any in Woodcrest. We should definitely check them out. Well, I hate to dash your hopes like this, but I'm of the understanding that they are a more traditional style of hot springs. The kind with a rather specific dress code, if you will. What do you mean, dress code? You expect to bathe in some kind of suit or something? Dom chuckled to himself as Diego's expression grew more and more confused with each passing second. As it would happen, I knew exactly what Dom was suggesting. Diego being Diego, however, had not quite grasped the implication. On the contrary, the only kind of suit allowed in the water is your birthday suit. What? That's like mad gay. I will have to take your word for it. After all, you of all people would be the authority on that. Shut up, that's harassment. Dom and I shared a hearty laugh at a flustered Diego's expense, before I continued our conversation, leaving Diego to pick up the pieces of his own fragile masculinity. So I take it you aren't planning on a field expedition then, Dom? I wouldn't be so quick to make that assumption, although perhaps only in the specific company. I don't want just anyone seeing the family jewels, you understand. But I did call Axel this morning, asked if he wanted to come. Didn't realize Russell was with him, and, well, it kind of backfired a bit. I don't know how I feel about sharing the water with the shark again so soon, but Russell wants to come along. Axel isn't so sure, though. But hold on, why are you telling us this? What does this have to do with anything? Oh, right, sorry. With these stories, I get so carried away with the journey that I forget all about the destination. So the point is, one of the posts on the message board mentioned that the owner had given them permission to be there. They didn't know who he was, but they described him as a well-dressed, jet-black raven with strikingly red eyes. Spencer? Who else could it be? Well, with that information in hand, I returned to the archives to hunt for any information I could turn up on the hot springs. I spent a good hour searching in vain until finally they appeared under a non-existent street address. What I found confirmed that these hot springs were owned by one Spencer Marston. Whoa, a surname? That's big news! You'd have thought so, but adding the surname to the equation turned up nothing that I hadn't already located. In and of itself, knowing his surname proved entirely fruitless. But the information that I had on the hot spring, some things just didn't add up. In particular, the hot springs were officially established 19 years ago, yet there are several records on file predating this, not to mention that weird street address. The road in question was indeed close by, but the address didn't exist, nor did the hot springs themselves officially have a street address. So I followed the trail of breadcrumbs back, and eventually I found out why. The hot springs were originally on the grounds of a private property nearby. That private property used to reside at that non-existent address, but was demolished more than half a century ago, and the address was subsequently disestablished. It wasn't until decades after the demolition that the hot springs were made standalone. From what I can tell, they are the only thing that remains of that property. The rest is nothing more than forest now. But here's the kicker. I managed to locate the demolition paperwork, and guess who the owner of the property was at the time? Spencer? Nope, try again. Remember, the property was demolished more than 50 years ago now. I knew exactly what the answer was going to be. I chipped in, if only to put Diego out of his misery. Let me guess. Solomon Moreau. Bingo. Eh? That's another thing linking those two names together. Surely this can't be a coincidence. My thoughts exactly. And have you noticed that the two names share the same initials? Perhaps this would be a little more than coincidence, but with everything else, I feel like it's at least worth remembering. Weird shit, dude. Any ideas on what all this could mean? Regrettably, we still know far too little for any theories to hold much water. But I do wonder if perhaps the records have been tampered with for some reason. We know that Spencer has some kind of involvement with the local government. That would at least explain the how, although the why is still very much an enigmatic detail. He's got to be up to no good. Why else would he do something like that? We don't know that for sure, Diego. It's like I said, it's just one of my theories. I have another if you'd like to hear it, and the two theories are not mutually exclusive either. Go on, then. Both that Spencer Marston and Solomon Moreau are pseudonyms. Pseudonym? An alias, a false name, which goes a long way to explain why so few records exist for either name, and perhaps it might explain the matching initials as well. Perhaps that is deliberate, some kind of identifier, maybe. Dude, what if they're the same person? That's not possible. After all, it is not legal to sign for a demolition under the age of 18, and it was more than half a century ago that Solomon signed on the dotted line. If whoever this Solomon is even still alive, he must be very, very old by now. Oh, right. If Spencer doesn't look that old, I'd be surprised if he was a day over 30. Yeah, perhaps Spencer inherited the hot springs from Solomon. Maybe the change in title was an inheritance on Solomon's passing. Could it be a relative, a grandparent perhaps? Although, if there were a death certificate by that name, I'm certain I would have found it by now. It's something to look into, I guess, and come to think of it, say both names were pseudonyms. How do we know they refer to just one person? Is it possible that those names have been used by several individuals, or perhaps even a whole organization? Whoa. Sorry, I got a little carried away there, I think. It's just another possibility from a long, long list of potential explanations. A list that, all going well, will become a lot smaller in the near future as we find out more. Anyway, that is everything for now. Do either of you have any thoughts? Dom took a hearty bite from his kebab, which over the course of our conversation had gone mostly untouched and no doubt gone cold. As listeners, however, Diego and I had fared considerably better, as Diego greedily inhaled his final donut, and I, who had ordered less food than either of my companions, had long since finished. Diego's mouth was full, his facial expressions documenting the overall sweetness of the cotton candy-flavored donut in excruciating detail. Accordingly, I responded to Dom's question first, allowing them both time to finish their respective mouthfuls. I can't help but feel that every time we learn something new, it only raises more questions. A long time ago, a friend of mine told me that if a situation seems like that, your perspective of the situation is out of whack. There might be some line of thinking here that we haven't considered yet. Dom nodded in appreciation for the wisdom behind my words, but he, like I, had no idea what that line of thought might have been. But then, I remembered something else, something important. It wasn't an answer to my own question, but it was something that might help us find some new answers. Hey Tom, riddle me this. Say Spencer were standing right in front of you. What would you say to him? What question would you ask whose answer would blow this whole mystery wide open? Dom, with impressive restraint and dignity when compared to our rather messier Company, delayed his response as he swallowed his current mouthful of kebab. Picking up a napkin, he cleared away the small quantity of barbecue sauce that had escaped from his meal before finally turning towards me with his response. We have to remember that there is still every possibility that Spencer is dangerous. As curious as we all are, we cannot take any unnecessary risks. It just isn't worth it. So to answer your question, I don't think I would ask him anything. Make a fair point. He's supposed to be coming by the bar today, or so Diego tells me. It seems like he wants to talk to Ty. Finally, Diego swallowed down the very last mouthful of his last donut, sparing a look of sadness and longing for the delicious meal that had come to an end. With his muzzle caked in icing sugar, Diego delayed his response no further. I found it hard to take him seriously on account of his uncanny resemblance to a toasted marshmallow. His uncanny resemblance to a toasted marshmallow. A marshmallow. I don't know, his early stuff was actually pretty good. Like, happier and whatnot. But I feel like it just grew repetitive. That's right, he came by yesterday while Ty and Aiden were off I mean camping, while they were off camping. I shot Diego a firm and disapproving glare, which he responded to with an apologetic expression. He had very nearly revealed what had transpired between myself and Ty on our camping expedition. Thankfully, Dom resumed the conversation at hand, neglecting to more closely inspect Diego's suspicious and unusual sentence structure. Any ideas on why he wishes to meet with Ty? Nope, left pretty much as soon as he arrived once he learned that Ty wasn't in. I see, but I still stand by my previous statement. Do not do anything foolish. It is better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, you're right. Besides, I don't want to drag Ty into any of this either. It's best, and the only thing that I can do is watch from a distance. We're not even going to learn anything at this rate. And maybe we never will, but I intend to continue my search. Every time I think I've hit a dead end, I always turn up something new. It's worth the persistence. You're right, and Diego and I will watch closely today. But beyond that, we'll keep ourselves at a safe distance, just in case. Yep, cross your fingers one of us overhears something, I guess. Indeed. At long last, Dom threw what little remained of his kebab into his mouth, finishing it briskly before checking the time on his phone. Oh crap, I lost track of time. Dom hurriedly stood up from his chair and began wiping the crumbs off his meal from his work shirt. I couldn't help but wonder what the rush was. Is everything okay? Yeah, it's just, Eric's off sick today, so it's just me and the boss. He was stressing a bit about the workload, but I was only going to take a half-hour lunch. Lucas wasn't receptive to that idea, but it's bold of him to assume he even had a choice. Yeah, that makes sense. After all the Black Claws have a bunch of rehearsals coming up, they found themselves a bassist, and their first show is booked for next Thursday night. I knew they had auditions, but they actually found someone? You never mentioned this, didn't I? I recalled back to the previous night where our conversations had very much focused on the camping trip. More specifically, all the trouble we'd gotten ourselves into along the way. And after that, well, I didn't really want to think about what came next. Nonetheless, Diego was right. It had completely slipped my mind. Sorry, I was kind of out of it last night. They had those auditions last night. Turnout was bigger than expected. The Black Claws still have a ton of fans here in Woodcrest, it seems. Anyway, have either of you met Jay? The name rings a bell. Wait, you've mentioned him before. He was there when Eric dragged you to that strip club that one time, right? Right, Eric's friend. Oh no, does Lucas know he's in a band with one of Eric's pals? I don't think he does, but unlike Eric, Jay has a lot more self-control. He's also one hell of a bass player. He's a terrific fit for the Black Claws. I sure hope you're right, Aiden. Lucas doesn't need any more headaches. Anyway, sorry to cut and run like this, but I need to be getting back before the workload sends him into a fit. Thanks for meeting us, Dom. We'll let you know if we find out anything interesting. Good hanging out with you, but next time, can you make it later in the day? Any later and we'd be out of sunlight, Diego. And likewise, Aiden. I've got some ideas from where I'll be digging tonight, thanks to you guys. Thanks to us? Yep, I'll let you know if I find anything out. Until then, guys, good luck with Spencer's visit. Catch you next time, Dom. Later, dude. Having said our farewells, Dom briskly departed in the direction of the exit that would provide the shortest route to Lucas's office. I checked the time myself, learning that Diego and I had some time before our shifts were due to begin. So, Diego, Any plans to kill what time we've got left? Me? Well, I sold some shit on the internet that I needed to post. And I need to drop by the bank. My card has been acting up, so I'm going to see if I can get a new one. Oh, and I need a new pair of shoes. I keep gluing them back together, but they keep coming apart again. How about you? Any plans? I take it you don't want to come along for my boring-ass errands. I racked my brain in an attempt to determine how my time might be best spent. Oh right, Ty's birthday! I felt a sharp pang of guilt for having forgotten about it yet again, but thankfully this seemed like the perfect opportunity to go gift shopping. I'm such a lousy boyfriend that I still haven't gotten anything for Ty's birthday. There's a good chance to sort that out once and for all, although I have absolutely no idea what I'll get him. A big-ass vibrator. You laugh now, boy, you don't realize that it's not off the cards. Damn, dude, you two sure are something. Anyway, catch you soon at work. Good luck with your dildo shopping. I winked confidently at Diego, who beamed back with a cheeky grin. The two of us then went our separate ways, with Diego heading towards the exit en route to the nearest post office, while I began to survey the choice of shops, hoping to find some inspiration. Eventually, I located a store that sold a variety of male beauty products, bearing bold and intricate scents, such as colognes, deodorants, shampoos, pomades, and even more besides. I'd hoped that such a gift would be a nod to our previous and future escapades, as well as our shared interest in intriguing odors and smells. Sadly, this proved harder than expected. For one, every time I thought that I had found the right gift, I began to second-guess myself, worrying that I would embarrass myself with my unrefined taste and poorly developed sense of smell. Things only got worse as time went on. My nose became entirely overwhelmed by the sheer quantity of conflicting smells, eventually losing the ability to distinguish between them altogether. It was almost as though fate was smiling down upon me when the clerk nodded my struggle and offered to assist. He asked a variety of questions about who the gift was for, the sorts of things that they enjoyed, and the nature of our relationship. At first, I was worried that I had embarrassed myself and given away too much information that should have been private, but on the contrary, this turned out to be the very best thing that could have happened. Returning from the back room, the clerk presented a small silver canister labeled Tiger's Bane. It was a name that initially provoked some concern, sounding as though it might have been harmful. The clerk assured me that it was not, before finally giving me a detailed rundown of what exactly this Tiger's Bane product did. I needed no further encouragement. It cost me more than I had anticipated, draining my bank account almost completely. Thankfully, today was payday, and my account would soon recuperate. And besides, this Tiger's Bane? Oh man. Ty and I were going to have a lot of fun with this, as much as I hated to match Diego's undignified expectations. Having secured the perfect gift, I ventured outside of the mall with plenty of time to spare. Having done all that I needed to, my schedule was entirely clear until I was due to start work. I only needed to decide how that time would be best spent. We're going to leave off here tonight. Fuck. Yeah, sorry about earlier. My computer was acting up. I don't know what does that. Just say, stream will be delayed tomorrow. I'll give you an exact time tomorrow. Yeah. Thank God I don't have anything until, like, 3 or something tomorrow. Anyways, I can't think of anything else to say, so stay safe, have a good night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.